Here are 5 things that really piss off vendors that patrons do that drives us nuts. Let's find out about them. Here we go. Good day, Sir Blasphemy here for Sir Blasphemy's Travels. Hope you guys are doing well out there. I hope you're having the days you deserve. And yeah, I hope you guys are just living the great life out there, man. I hope you guys are doing well. So today, as I do some things, so I was going to have a very special video this week, and it kind of fell through because I have a diabetic cat, and I couldn't find anybody to watch her. So this is the video you're going to get, but you would have had a much cooler video, in my opinion. I don't know, this one's still pretty cool. But yeah, I was going to go down with a couple of buddies. We were going down to their house in Mexico, man, on the beach. And I couldn't go because I couldn't find somebody to watch my diabetic cat, or they were too afraid to give my cat shots. So I understand that's the way it goes sometimes when you sacrifice for people, kids, and fur babies. So that's just the way it goes. So instead, you guys are going to get a video here about what patrons do that really tick off vendors or entertainers or whatever the case may be, but mainly vendors. And I think that this can be very useful to you if you're going out to a fair, or maybe you're not as experienced out at Renaissance fairs. And this kind of works for just about anywhere. Anybody who's even worked in retail in just general, not just Renaissance fairs, can probably, understand all of this, and it's frustrating. And so these are things, here are 5 things I'm going to give you that patrons do that really aggravate us vendors. So first thing, before I get started, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and comment on this video. Tickle that bell for future notifications. And on comments, I always comment back 100% of the time. So yeah, so don't forget that. Send this out to your friends and all that good stuff. And let's get started with this. So I've got my little notes sitting here, so I'm looking at them here just to make sure I get them. These are in no particular order, by the way. These are just 5 that I can think of right off the bat that I wanted to jot down. So here's number 5. Again, no particular order. Number 5, don't hold up lines talking. And this is what I mean. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't, maybe you know a vendor out there or something of that nature. And usually if you know the vendor, there's a little bit of leeway with this. There's a little bit of acceptance. It's not as annoying. I know I talk to people all day long, and it doesn't bother me whatsoever if we're talking, but what they do to be courteous is they step off to the side so the rest of the line can come up. I can do business. They wait a second for me to get done. Then we talk some more. Then I go to the next person. Then we talk some more. And then when the line clears out, we get our conversation going. What you don't want to do as a patron, and especially if you don't know the person, okay? If you don't know the vendor, maybe you're vibing, they're being kind, that's their job, that's what they're supposed to do. But then you start talking, you're at a checkout counter, and you start talking about, everything you've ever done in your entire life, what your grandma does for a living, what your dog's preferred food is, what dresses you wore in 1974. I mean, whatever the case may be, you just start talking. And if the person is not giving you a reply and you're getting a bunch of yep, oh, I hear you, yep, move on. They're done with you. There's a line behind you. Be courteous to the people behind you. Be courteous to the people trying to make a living. Be courteous. You're not the most important person at that fair, okay? Because there's going to be 10 other people that are going to do that to this person and do it to me all day long. I don't mind being polite. I will always be polite to you. I'll always have a conversation with you. But stand off to the side, talk to me. Stand off to the side. 99% of the time, this happens for me. People stand off to the side. I love talking to them. But if you're standing in the line, and there's a line behind you, and there's people waiting, if there's nobody behind you, fine. Let's chit-chat. But if there are people waiting behind you, get the hell out of the way. You're not the only one that matters. Okay? I have to make a living. And the vendors have to make a living. The workers have to make a living. Just move to the side. Step off to the side. Don't be talking or continue to talk while somebody's trying to place an order. And they're standing there and they're looking and they have their money and you're still motorboating off to the side. Shut up. Let me do my work. Let them get what they need so they can go, and then we can talk. All right? So don't hold up lines talking, okay? Be courteous. Step off to the side. Be quiet when it's time to be quiet, and chat when it's time to chat. There you go. All right, number 4. Again, no particular order. I'm going to say this every time. Number 4. This should be self-explanatory, guys. Please don't do this. Even though it doesn't happen that often, but it happens. And it's exhausting. And it drives me crazy, okay? Don't talk politics or religion, okay? Especially if you don't know the person. If you know the person, that's different. Okay, then we could talk, we'd exchange ideas, whatever the case may be. But if you don't know the person, you don't know how they're going to react. And mind you, I'm there to sell. I can tell you right now, I'm not going to change your world beliefs and you're not going to change mine by us having a conversation in front of a Renaissance Fair booth. It's not going to happen. I don't care about what your opinion is about the incoming or outgoing president. I don't give a shit. I don't care. I don't care what your opinion is. I care about my opinion. That's it. Because I know, I've researched, I've done my facts, I've done my fact work, and if you say something completely ridiculous, it's just going to make me roll my eyes and go, oh, I'm here to sell. You know, I mean, just if you want to have this conversation, talk with me out in the freaking campgrounds about it, and then we can go from there. But it's like, don't talk about that stuff. No one wants to talk about that. We're out there to have a good time. I'm out there to sell goods and have a good time. Everybody's out there to, you know, get a little loose, get a little relaxed, all that good stuff. You know what I mean by that? And I don't want to hear about, you know, how you dislike one side or another. I don't want to hear about how you're so much more righteous than everybody else there at the fair because you believe one way over another person's. I don't care. And I got news for you. It's not going to get solved. It's not going to happen. So shut up. That's why I'm Sir Blasphemy. Just shut up. Shut up. I mean, nobody cares. I don't care how angry you are at the government. I don't give a shit. Go settle it with them. Go run. Don't talk to me about it. Go deal with it. Challenge somebody into a UFC match, whatever you got to do. But I don't care. I'm there to sell stuff, and the only thing I'm thinking about while you're talking is getting you to shut up. That's exactly what I'm thinking about while you're talking about that nonsense. I'm thinking about how can I get this person to shut up. So I might be Sir Blasphemy for a minute and say something ridiculous just to tick you off so you'll leave. So keep that in mind. I'm friendly, I'm loyal, I'm the best person you could know. I'm about as kind as they come. And or at least try to be anyway. I'm not, you know, nobody's perfect, but I'm about as kind as they come. And I'm loyal, and I'm a true friend, and I'm absolutely 100% a fun-loving, easygoing guy. But if I have enough of your bull dookie, dude, I'll tell you about it, all right? So come on. Don't talk politics or religion at Renaissance fairs. Come on, patrons. Don't do that, all right? It doesn't happen very often, but it does happen. All right, number 3. Again, no particular order. Don't let kids loose on a booth anywhere or around goods. And I'm not going to just talk about kids. I'm talking about teenagers and adults. Be respectful to the vendors, okay? If you're standing there, this happens too much, okay? Because I got news for you. You don't want me scolding your kid. I got news for you because I'll teach them a quick lesson. All right? But don't let your kids where they walk up and they start grabbing everything that's on the front of the booth. Here's a story right here. Here's a story right here that almost got a kid killed on my tent, all right? Because the parents are too stupid to kind of guide and watch the kid, okay? Again, I'm shooting straight with you in this video because you can tell this annoys the crap out of me. And I'm not the only vendor. We all have this complaint. 100% of all vendors have these same complaints, okay? We all talk about it. It's crazy. But I had somebody one time, their little girls are sitting there pulling on, I have tension ropes on my tent at TRF and at the places I've used it. This little girl's pulling on it. There's these metal things that hold, I mean, they are steel, and they hold on the rope only by tension. They're not tied on there, they're nothing. Tension-based, right? So then, all it takes is the little girl to just create enough slack for that thing to slide up. Fast, hard, and heavy. And if it hits you, it's going to split your skull in two. It's going to split your skull in two. And I was sitting there watching this little girl pulling on it, and the parents are looking like, oh, isn't she so cute? No, she's an idiot. Get your idiot kid off the thing. You're an idiot because you taught an idiot to idiot like that. All right? So there you go. That's annoying. And then I've also had teenagers or adults even grab everything, get into stuff, grab stuff. without asking, and start touching things and pulling on things, and it's like, where did you guys learn to behave that way? It's like, I had a teenager this year that walked by in front of my thing. If you guys all know me, I have Pete and Repeat, my 2 baby dragons that sit out in front of my sign. And this teenage kid just walks by, kicks the dragon over, not intentionally, he was just walking by, not paying attention, kicks it, busts it wide open, looks down at it bust, doesn't bend down to pick it up or put it back, just keeps walking, sees that it's broke, keeps walking. So me being what I do, I shouted at him and said, hey man, thanks for not doing anything about it. Thanks for just walking by. And he looked at me like, how dare you? How could you say that to me? It's like, well, I'm sorry if you're going to be irresponsible to Renaissance Fair, if you're going to mess with things that we take pride in, that we take hours to make, that we dedicate our lives around to make, that we put out there and put a lot of work, time, sweat, and blood and tears into this thing, and you go out there and disrespect it by letting your kids climb all over stuff or pull stuff out, and then you're not saying anything, you're just letting them doing it, and the vendors happen to be the parent going, oh, let me get that, trying to be as polite as we can. You're the bad patron. You're the bad patron. Don't do it. Monitor your kids, monitor yourself, monitor your teenagers. There won't be an issue. Just treat others how you want to be treated. Would you want my kid running jungle gym in your house? I don't know. I've seen some of you guys' houses. Maybe you do. I'm just kidding. All right, but there you go. Come on, guys. Don't let the kids loose. All right. Here's one that also drives me crazy. Number 2, again, no particular order. Don't take up table space if you are not a customer of the place you're taking table space up in. All right. And what I mean by that is that all the time, this is a huge complaint with people that have indoor seating or some kind of Ramada type seating, like certain wine or mead or certain even food vendors or certain places that have like overhang for people to sit, like ice cream places, stuff like that at Renaissance fairs, where there's just little sections where they have a couple of tables, or maybe they got multiple tables, and their customers it's for their customers to sit down. And now it doesn't count, man, if it's raining or maybe someone's having a little trouble on a hot day. We get that. That's to be understood, okay? But if you go and buy a pizza somewhere, okay, and then your family walks away, instead of all the seating that's there, even if there wasn't any seats, you couldn't find nowhere to go, and then you walk into, let's say, a mead station, and you sit down with your family and you're taking up a whole thing, and then these mead stations maybe have tasting demos that they do, or just a lot of customers in general, and then all of a sudden they're not getting return purchases, they're not getting people sticking around maybe buying more drinks because you're taking up the table space and you're not buying anything from them. So don't be offended if people walk up to you and go, excuse me, are you planning on purchasing anything? And if you say no, then they're going to be like, you got to go. Don't be offended, because it's a turn and burn. We're only there 2 days a week. We're there and most fairs, we're only there 17 days in 2 months of an entire season. That's it. Every single dollar counts. It means a lot. It's not like as soon as the fair's over, that income continues. It stops. So we have to make every dollar we can. So be respectful. Don't go sit somewhere. Like, for instance, I've had it to where I used to be right next door to an awesome show, the Washing Well Wenches, and sometimes they'd have overflow of people standing there. I have a 3-foot canopy, very limited space, and I'm selling to the front. Well, people would decide, oh, I'm tired of standing in the heat, and they would back right up underneath my canopy and stand there with their backs to me like a row here while I'm doing business right here. My elbow's almost hitting them, and I'm going, get out of the frickin' way. Like, what are you doing here? Not only that, you're blocking people from seeing what product I have, my menus, all of that stuff. Go away. Go watch the show somewhere else. If you don't want to watch the show in the sunshine, then don't walk outside. I mean, that's it. So be respectful. Don't buy stuff somewhere else and then come sit somewhere like in a dress shop that happens to have a table in there just because they have a table. No, stand up. You're coming to a Renaissance fair. You should have known this already. Or go sit somewhere. There's plenty of seating everywhere outside, around trees, around outside food venues. You can sit there. That's what those are for. The inside stuff is for those customers only. So be mindful and understand that and be a polite patron. Come on. Don't take up table space, all right, when you're not purchasing from that vendor. So that was number 2. All right, guys, number 1 here. This is probably, I know this is one of the ones that offend me and that actually, it'll turn me from nice guy to mean guy real quick. Real quick. You'll see my temper. Like, it takes a lot to get there. Unless you're an ex or something like that. But no, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Except for one ex. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, it takes a lot. Like, I'll deal with a lot, and I'll be friendly and smiling to you. But this will send me from 0 to 60 in a heartbeat. Okay, and that is, don't be a know-it-all about my product. Okay, and what I mean about that, it doesn't mean that you can't be. That was number one, by the way. But that doesn't mean that you can't be an expert in something that somebody else sells. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is the person that walks up, and these are the same people, by the way. The know-it-alls never buy anything. Never. The ones that know about the product and like to share and talk shop with you and exchange ideas and go, I usually do it like this. How do you do it? Blah, 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 blah. Those aren't the know-it-alls I'm talking about. Those will buy it from you because we're in a similar field and we're talking about it and it's neat and it's fun and we're exchanging ideas, we're having all that. No, but it's the one that comes up to you and then they try to tell you about your product, but yet they've never made it. They don't know how you mix it. They don't know how you put it together. They know nothing about the combinations, about the flavors. They know nothing. But they'll stand there and they'll talk to you and they'll look smug about it like, oh, well, and whatever you say, they'll disagree with. They'll completely disagree with. And they'll go, oh, well, how do you do it like that? Well, then if it's like that, then how do you do that? Oh, well, I mean, I don't know. I did it like this, but blah, blah, blah. Well, then what does it do? Well, what does that do? Well, I don't understand. Like, where they're not asking questions to get information. They're asking questions to make you feel stupid, okay? The know-it-all people. You guys are freaking morons, let me tell you, because once I corner you, once you open me up, I've had people stand there, and they'll start talking to me about just CBD products. Okay, there's a lot more people that know a hell of a lot more about that with me, but you don't know how I mix it into my chocolate, what the effects are and what it does. You just know what you've read, or maybe some of you have experienced it but haven't looked deep into it. I usually know the lab results. I know where it comes from. I know how it's grown. I know everything. I know the people that sell it to me. I know how to get you the answers to the questions you'll have by getting you in touch with the experts. And then if you're not willing to do that, that's where I get my information to tell you about my product. And if you're not willing to do that, then that's how I know you're not there to learn anything. You're not there to discuss with me. You're just there to inflate your ego. And so I've had people stand there. I forgot. This happens once, twice, maybe 3, 4 times every season, every fair. You always have some jerk off come up and they'll be like, oh, well, what's this? And then you'll go, oh, okay, yeah, what are you selling? And they'll wait for you to do your pitch and you're glad to see them. You're like, here we go, this is what it is. And all of a sudden they'll go, oh, well, no, I'm not really interested in buying anything. I'm just like, so how does that work? How do you get that? Oh, okay, well, yeah, I used to have a brother's, law's, aunt's, uncle's sheepdog that used to do this. And well, they said not to do it like that. So I was curious, like, why you do it that way, or whether, and they'll go into this spiel like chastising you on your work. And it's like, really? So I've sold thousands upon thousands upon thousands of these things around the country. I make them all the time. I get outstanding reviews, outstanding results, and you're going to tell me that I'm doing it wrong. Okay, gotcha. And people go into like horns, and they'll go into like horn makers, and they'll go into leather makers just because they made leather back in the 70s one time in their, wood shop class or something. They'll go in there and they'll tell, because I'll talk to the leather makers. They'll go, oh, well, my aunt's uncle's nephew, we were doing this for about 2 minutes and read a book once, and they say not to do it that way. Oh, I was just curious why you guys do it that way. It goes on and on and on. You're always going to run into those folks. But if you're a patron and you got an ego, keep it in your pocket. A Renaissance fair is a place to have fun. Go out there, experience it, enjoy it, talk to people, meet new people you never met, look at new dress, people watch, eat and drink and be merry. That's the whole point. Spend a couple of bucks on the hardworking vendors that go across the country, that travel, that go through extraordinary things just to bring you their product. Support them. Do those things. Have a good time. Smile. Meet new people. Do all of that stuff, but don't go there being a know-it-all. All right? Because that is just an absolute turnoff. And if I know that you're going to other places to shop, I'm going to beat you in there, and I'm going to tell you, this guy's a know-it-all. Like, this guy's blah, 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 blah. He's going to give you a hard time, whatever. And then you're going to start to have a very rude Renaissance experience because word can travel fast. So anyway, guys, that's it. So that's all I have for you. Instead of the Mexico trip, which I wanted to show to you guys on the beach, on a beach house, Ari, my kitty cat, my 18-year-old diabetic cat stopped me. So, but that's it for it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope this sums up some of the questions some patrons may have, and to lead you to have a better experience at a Renaissance fair so we can all get along and have a good time. All right? So, until the next video, guys, I think I'm done here. So, Sir Blasphemy, out.